I thought we'd spend 30 seconds just talking about Thames Water and putting Thames Water in context. We're the biggest of the UK water utility companies, and our investment programme is something like £5 billion over 5 years. We translate that into about 500 live projects, and the delivery model is heavily outsourced. There's only about 350 of us in the capital delivery arm of Thames Water, so you can see that outsourcing is a sort of a major part of our business, and managing our outsourcing is what this tool is all about. The contracts are design and construct. They're mainly Burgundy book. We do use other forms, but it's mainly Burgundy book or a modified form thereof. And the majority of our projects are let as sub-programs, circa sort of several £1 million worth of sub-program. And they tend to be geographically based to try and get some efficiencies out of that as well. How have we worked with Unit 4? Well, we've had a relationship with Unit 4, or Business Collaborator as they used to be, for about 5 or 6 years. We've got about 3,000 users on our Unit 4 system, and as I mentioned before, 500 live projects. All of our projects are templated and they're set up identically, and that gives us some huge opportunities to roll things out and some efficiencies as well. We don't use a filing structure. We use a metadata sort of system, which some people love and some people hate. It's a bit like Marmite. They kind of fall definitely into two camps. Our business management system also sits on our Unit 4 system, which we call TwexNet. It's just a name we've given it. It's slightly branded for our needs, but essentially it's a very vanilla product that we've taken on board. And we call our business management system the capital delivery process. There's nothing fancy about it. It's commonly referred to within our company as CDP. Fully integrated with the document management. It's cross-functional and it's cradle to grave. So project managers, designers, construction people all use the same process. We don't have project management procedures and health and safety procedures and environmental procedures. They're all rolled into one. As our process is a 6-stage process, and each stage comprises a number of steps. It's very, very simple. It's nothing complicated. Mainly because we have to explain it to so many people, you need something simple. So I'd like to sort of explore a sort of a bit of a scenario with you, if you like. You are on holiday somewhere else, maybe at a client's, maybe at a contractor's, maybe at home on a Sunday afternoon, and something has gone wrong. And some answers are required by your CEO, chief exec, whatever, pretty damn quick. My question to you this morning is, what would you do to respond? And I hope this tool, which we're going to run you through, may sort of help in that regard. When we thought about designing this, we jotted down the issues and needs to make sure we actually design the right product. I don't know about in the environment in which you work, but there's an ever-increasing demand to be able to demonstrate compliance, either in our case with the regulator, but with clients as well, various other statutory bodies that want us to demonstrate that we've complied with this and complied with that. Our contract documents are extremely complex. You might say, well, that's your problem, Thames. Well, maybe it is, but they are voluminous documents with a lot of input from a lot of different people. And what the Project Assure tool has done is give us some clarity about what it is we are asking people to deliver in terms of documentation. Our business model, as I've already mentioned, is heavily outsourced. There's a lot of third parties. They're often carried out by people we'd never meet. They're geographically diverse, and quite often very transitory staff. Staff will join a contractor or a subcontractor for a few weeks and then move on. So the process, our staff churn is enormous. The size and the diversity of our programme. We've got 500 projects. They range from digging up the roads in London, as some of you may be familiar with, to refurbishing a water treatment works out in rural Gloucestershire. All right, so it's a huge diversity of projects, also a big range in scale. We've got limited resources, and we're always under pressure to reduce those resources even further, but of course still maintain the quality and the assurance that the company is looking for. So this tool was designed to try and meet most, if not all, of those needs. There's often confusion in projects about responsibilities. Who's responsible for that particular stage, particularly when you've got a number of different folk on a project? It's sometimes difficult to tell. It's Sunday afternoon, you're on holiday. Well, who do you ring up when there's a problem on the construction site? Who is the construction engineer on that particular project? You need to find a particular document, a set of minutes, an assessment, or something like that. how do you find it quickly? And the status of the document is also important. Was that document, that board paper, was that approved, or was that somebody took a bit of a flyer and it never actually made it through the approval process? Quite often comes up when things go wrong, believe me. And our business management system, we needed to be able to relate the documents which we're producing to the requirements of our business management system. So the project assurance tool, the benefits it's given us are absolutely enormous. I couldn't begin to articulate really to you how much benefit we've got out of it. We've been able to do things and report on things and target projects which we were never able to do before. We can produce a project dashboard in about an hour. From 500 projects we can assemble the data and we're in the process of automating that, so I'll take it down to minutes. And predetermined key documents can be displayed and their status assessed. There's a number of other benefits there as well. As I mentioned, our business management system, CDP, is on there, and that comprises a number of procedures, work instructions, flowcharts and all that sort of thing. We can update that and have it available to all of our 3,000 users in a matter of minutes. Templates can be downloaded straight into a project, so there's no finding a template, downloading it onto your C drive and then loading it up. They download straight into the project from the project assurance tool. We reckon that we save about 40 hours a month per project by using the project assurance tool, and I think that's probably a very conservative estimate. Right, what I thought I'd do now is to just take you through some screenshots of the system. There's our front page. If you've got a password and you've got access, and you can log on to that from any PC, and that's our front page. And you can see the traffic lights, and that's the entry into our CDP RAG system, or Project Assurance Unit 4, call it more generically. So if we click on that, metaphorically that is, there's one of our projects. And you can see, I think, the 6 stages listed out with all their steps. Starting on the left-hand side, they go from planning for delivery, procurement, design. The one you can't see because it's covered up with a pull-down is construction, handover, and then project completion. I'm going to take you through some, but by no means all of the features of this. So there is there is a lot more to it, but I'm going to take you through some of the salient features. You noticed I've opened up a pick list there, and we're currently looking at the grid view. Some people like grid views, they find them easy to understand, but there are other views. There's a list view, which surprisingly is a list. There is a flowchart view, which is a wonder to behold. Some people like flowcharts, some people don't, but it's there, and this tool allows you to have as many different views as you like. You're not limited by the number of different views of the project that you can have. We're going to go into one of these now. We're going to look at the flowchart view. And there's a flowchart view of our planning for delivery stage. You can see the flowchart in the middle and the project listed out down the side of that particular. You can click on any of the stages as well. I'm not going to this morning, but you can do. So you can pull any of those 6 stages up. If we go, that was looking at the process, and there's a tab there. And if we go into a project, we get a series of filters which we can play around with. I've chosen to pull up one called AMP5 TV Network. It doesn't really matter what it's called, but that's the program which we're going to look at. We could look at the projects by stage, and there's the different stages, so I can filter on the program and the stage within that program. Or I could enter the project name or the project reference, and I've chosen there to enter the project reference, or the project name rather. So we're going to look at somewhere called Bradfield Farm. I've no idea where this is, but there we are. Bradfield Farm comes up, and immediately we can see that project is amber. I've got an amber traffic light on it, which tells me that, interestingly, there are some documents in there, so I'm not completely wasting my time. Let's go into Bradfield Farm then and see it in all its glory. And there is the Bradfield Farm project. Just to talk you briefly through what's being displayed there, starting on the left-hand side, you've got the planning for delivery stage is closed. And it's red, which means there's no documents in there. And there's no documents in there because Bradfield Farm existed as a project before we introduced this tool. Okay? The next 2 stages are also closed, but let's move on to the construction stage, and that one's open. The word current is a bit of a clue, and the fact that it's got a yellow line over the top also tells us that it's the current stage. Everywhere there's a red means there's no documents, everywhere there's an amber means there are some documents, and everywhere where there's a green means it's fully done. That stage is fully signed up, all the documents are signed off and approved. So instantly I've got a view of that project, and although it might not look at it, that's quite a good project. All right? I happen to know that those first two stages were done on the project before we introduced this tool, and we didn't retrofit it. So that's quite a good project there. They've done all their design, they seem to have all their design documents. There are more than that. Incidentally, there are 43, I think it is. Yes, 43 documents in design, but they seem to have at least the top ones. We can't scroll down this morning, unfortunately. So that's Bradfield Farm, and if we go into that particular step, the pre-construction review step, all right, we can then start drilling. We're drilling down, really getting into the weeds now. We've got 4 documents which we need to produce. We can see that 2 of them have been produced. They've got a green icon, and 2 of them haven't been produced. They've got a red icon. Okay. And we can even see that a gentleman called Keith Jones uploaded one of them there on the 18th of the 4th, all right? So some really good clues. We could open the document and have a look at it. If you've got some problems with it, you can ring Keith. And how do we know how to ring Keith? Let's view the project roles. And there's the project roles come up, all right? I've only shown part of the roles here, but it says the contractor, there's a telephone number and an email contact. So straight away, from my beach villa in wherever I was on holiday, I've got all this information kind of at my fingertips. You may think that's not a good thing, but it's up to you if you log on or not, of course. I mentioned before about responsibilities, and if we highlight the responsibilities, I've chosen the contractor, okay, and you can see everything that's in yellow there is the contractor's responsibility. I could pick any of those other roles, and they would also come up yellow, and the contractor's yellow would disappear. So if I'm in any doubt about who's responsible for a particular stage, this little piece of information will tell us. If I really get stuck, I go back onto the right-hand side, and I've got the CDP RAG help, and if you click on that, and we've had 7 little 2-minute videos, video clips made, they're audio clips, so if you can't quite remember how to issue for release or how to add a deliverable, there's a little step-by-step audio guide telling you how to do it, which is rather nice. In summary then, okay, summary. Unit 4 Project Assurance Tool, what we call CDP RAG, but the generic name is the Unit 4 Project Assurance Tool. It's flexible and configurable to any process involving documents or activities. We've got a 6-stage multi-step process, but you could do it with a 100-stage mega step process, entirely up to you. It's very, very configurable. In fact, we've just started developing a sister to our RAG system for another part of our business. So you can have 2 systems running on the same one. It's live. This is what I like about it, and it's a self-audit function. So when project managers come to me and say, well, what sort of stage is my project in? I say, go and look at the tool. You don't need to come to me. You can self-audit. It's clear what documents have been produced. It's clear the status of those documents. You can look at a thing by program, by project, stage, step, and right down to document level. Whatever level you feel you want to go in at and information, you can get it. You don't need any special IT infrastructure other than a connection to the web and a password, obviously, to get in there and the access to that project. But those security issues aside, it's very easy to get into. It's very quick and easy to use. I was heartened by this because when we rolled this out within our company, we did some warm-up sessions, awareness sessions ahead of the main rollout. And we mentioned that we were going to be running some training. And several people on separate sessions said, I don't think I need any more training. I can work this out for myself. And that was absolutely a fantastic endorsement when you're trying to roll out some more IT to people. It's a superb piece of IT engineering, and it works. It's proven with ourselves. There's been enormous direct and indirect cost savings, and since you can find documents so easily, how often do you go into a project, the project files, and you can't quite find the document you want, and you spend hours scratching around. And that's whether it's a paper system or an electronic system. It enables better use of scarce resources, both ours and our contractors, and everybody knows the project status.